day of practice, I heard you during a drill talking to some of these players, maybe the tryout players, like, hey, this is it. I mean, take advantage of these reps right now. Do you kind of have to go in the whip a little bit for these guys? Are they a little tentative?
I would say the group as a whole was pretty eager. So we definitely probably saw the best version of all these guys in terms of just the energy, the effort, the urgency. You know, we had some of our coaches chasing these guys down after every play, and but it was a pretty impressive group in terms of just really everything. A lot of these guys truly do look the part, and then you watch them go out there and compete at a high level and give that great effort and energy, and so it's something to be excited about. But it's only 2 days, so these guys are going to have a lot of work in front of them, and certainly they've only seen just a very small portion of our playbook.
We got a chance to talk with Kenneth in the locker room today. Have you gotten a chance to meet him yet? And how cool is it? I don't know if cool is the right word, but he was like, I've never played an organized football game in my life. Is that kind of cool to see what you can maybe do with him?
He's a ball of clay. I mean, we got to mold him. And, yeah, he's an impressive-looking guy. He definitely has the size. Just in limited interaction with him, he seems pretty intelligent, pretty eager. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of work in front of him. But it is a cool thing in terms of just for the game of football, to give somebody an opportunity from another country, I think is just a big-time plus. Obviously, it's got its advantages from a roster standpoint as well. So we're really excited about it.
Did you have any international pathway players from in Tennessee or LA that you ever?
I'm trying to think. I don't believe so. So I want to say this is my first experience with it. Now, I've known some of the guys that have gotten those opportunities. The D-line coach with the Cowboys, Adam Durde, he was with us in Atlanta in terms of he was one of our coaches, and he talked about his experience, you know, going through that process as a player, and it's a great opportunity for these guys.
Can that help sometimes as a coach when you have a player who doesn't know what he doesn't know, like hasn't created bad habits yet?
Yeah, but there's a lot of learning as well. So, like I said, it's like a ball of clay, and we got to help mold him to be the best that he possibly can be.
Man, how much do you give these guys of each of the playbooks? Like, what are they running out there? How much of it? Like, not even full first day install?
Yeah, it's pretty limited. It's more or less you want to get them to understand just how we practice and the effort that it takes, and so you want it to allow these guys to go out there and compete and play fast and just, you know, fly around. And that's exactly what they did. I was really impressed with the group as a whole. Certainly there are some mistakes out there, which, you know, is to be expected. I think more than anything, you just want to lay the foundation for, you know, just our whole procedure, operation, offensively, just getting in and out of the huddle, how we line up in formations, some of the motions. Obviously, the snap count's a big part of that. Defensively, and just getting lined up in the right spot. So, but I think our coaches did an outstanding job kind of organizing it and allowing them to go out there and execute and play fast.
Sounds like Rich Bisaccia had a lot of glowing things in the draft room to say about Anders. How much do you think that familiarity you might have from coaching Daniel will be helpful, and how high was he on Anders?
Oh, he was very high on him. Obviously, having a history there with his brother, and he's known him for a while now. So definitely made a big impact in Anders' ability to be picked by us. But he's a talented guy, and you know, we're excited. He's got a big leg. Certainly, he's by far from a finished product, but I think, you know, he didn't keep with the brace on this week at all, which I think is going to help him. And you know, we're just excited about the talent there.
Were you able to do any 11 and 11 reps? Is this roster necessarily, did you bring a lot of guys in, maybe a linebacker that could help out in teams or something like that for tryouts?
Yeah, we had a couple periods of 11 on 11, 2 periods each day that I thought were really beneficial. Just to, again, these guys got to learn how to practice without pads, how to stay on their feet, We didn't have too many guys on the ground, which is always one of the things that you're a little bit concerned about. And I thought Goody and his staff did an outstanding job of making sure that we had enough people that we could get through those periods in terms of just the numbers at each position group. So that was really helpful for us.
Matt,
I know you were gone yesterday, but Jack Plum, I don't know, have you heard how he's been doing so far in these 2 days of rookie camps?
Yeah, Jack did a nice job out there. I mean, I haven't watched the tape from today. You know, it's fun when you get into some of these settings when you're, like Steno called all the plays. I just kind of sat back and tried to watch just how guys just broke the huddle, their urgency, getting lined up, the way they communicated with one another, and then the effort that they gave. And so I'll go back and kind of look at more of the technique stuff and assignment-based things that we always look for, and as soon as we're done here.
Goody loves to say about, veteran free agents that have played for you guys, you'll never close the door on them, especially with how young your tight end room is. Hypothetically, if Mercedes does come back here, how beneficial could that be for guys like Tucker and Luke in that room?
Yeah, he's a pro's pro, and you guys know how I feel about Mercedes, and yeah, I think they would definitely learn. A lot of times these guys learn more from sometimes some of the players than they do from us as coaches, because they can give them little nuggets. They've been in the fire. I always think that, I've said it to our guys, I think player-led team is more powerful than a coach-led team, and we got a lot of young guys, which is really exciting too. But yeah, I think anytime, you got a veteran guy like that that's played for as long as he's played at such a high level, I think it can be beneficial for everybody.
I know you're just getting acquainted with them on the field, but on their film, how similar or not similar are the skill sets of a Musgrave and Kraft?
Yeah, I think, there's some similarities, and they're both big guys that can run, but I think their games right now are very different in terms of what they've been exposed to, and, we're just kind of taking a peek at them, and that was my first exposure to those guys, but certainly they both looked the part. They both were fast, explosive, very, very smart guys, which is always exciting because I think they're going to be able to pick up the playbook at a pretty good rate. So we'll just see how it goes over the next couple of weeks and into OTAs in terms of how much they can handle. But that typically is, outside the quarterback position, I would say that's one of the harder positions to transition to this league in terms of just all the knowledge that you have to have. You have to have it in the run game, in the pass game. Certainly there could be elements that they're going to have to play on teams as well. And so they've got a lot to learn, but I think both guys are eager. That's part of the reason why we picked them so high is, they checked all those boxes in terms of just the intangibles you look for from that position. Not only are they talented, but they have all the other things that you want.
Matt, what jumps out at you about Lucas? I know one practice, but just in terms of what he brings to the table and what he looks like.
Yeah, he's big, he's fast, he's explosive. Again, another young player that I think has his best football will be in front of him. He's got a lot to learn, but he is. You can tell he's got the heart, he's got the drive, and we're going to push him each and every day to try to get him there as fast as humanly possible. But I think he's going to be a fun guy to work with.
Back to Matt's question about the veteran leadership. Obviously, we know this wide receiver room is quite young. Have you talked to Christian and Romeo about needing to step up as second-year guys, or are they doing that themselves?
I think they kind of do that naturally, especially, Rome just kind of got back here this week. So Christian's been around for the first couple weeks, and yeah, it's fun to watch the jump that a lot of these guys make from year one to year two in terms of just how they mature as men. And so they are going to be two of the guys that we're going to be leaning on, and especially in that room. I think Samari's another one that kind of knows the standards and expectations for that position room. I think I've said it prior to this in terms of what the guys that had been here before kind of set those standards and those expectations. And both those guys, or all three of those guys, are really smart dudes, and they understand what it takes. And they are gonna have to take on a bigger leadership role, whether they want to or not.
Those guys that have been here before are gone now. It's not a lot of experience in that room. Do you need to add a veteran to that room, or is it just best to give those guys the snaps, let them make the mistakes and learn from that?
Yeah, I think, time will tell. But it's certainly a very talented room. It's going to be a hell of a competition in terms of who's getting the snaps, because just at first glimpse at some of these young guys that just were in here, they are some talented guys, so they're going to be exciting to work with, and we'll kind of see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be a very fluid situation in terms of just how much we throw at them, and then if need be, I know Goody's going to do whatever he can to help us field the best possible team, and if need be, then I think we would turn that way. But right now, I think we're going to just let those guys compete.
Matt, what did you see from Tom Clements last year, getting to know him? You wanted him to be your quarterback's coach with Jordan Love's first year as a starter.
Yeah, I think just going back, prior to Tom coming here, and just how Aaron would praise him and give him so much credit in his own development. I think anytime you got a player like that, especially of that talent, and how much you respect a guy like Aaron, you always listen to that. So, and then just watching him last year, I think Jordan's made some huge strides. I really do. And I think a lot of it is a credit to Tom, and just he knows how to train these guys. He knows how to drill them. And he's very, very consistent. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he just is matter of fact. And I think there's no doubt. I asked Jordan after the season how he felt about him, and he said he loved Tom and thought he did a hell of a job helping him, develop over the course of the year. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. It's just whether or not Tom wanted to come back. So I'm happy he wanted to be here, and we're lucky to have him. And he does a great job too, not only with the quarterbacks, but just helping out with our offense and bringing suggestions and great ideas. And it's been a fun process getting to know him, and just the standards that he holds that room to, and he does a hell of a job.
We also know what high regard you have for Rich. Was it nice to have someone with the experience he had? I know it's only rookie camp, but to have him so you could go raise a bunch of money for cancer research yesterday the way you did?
Yeah, no, that was a great event last night. You got a little shout out last night. We didn't clown on you too bad, but yeah, it was a cool event. It was my first time meeting Coach Guard. What a down to earth, humble class act he is, and what a great cause. I think all of us have been affected in some way or form, and I know you personally have, and it all hits us a little bit differently. So I just thought it was one of those things that I didn't want to pass up that opportunity. I think we have an unbelievable platform in what we do, and to raise money for such a great cause, and for such a a nasty illness. It was a no-brainer, and I thought Rich would do a great job holding down the fort, which he did, and so did our other staff members. And we got a great staff, and I feel confident with those guys. And I thought missing one rookie practice wasn't going to be the end of the world, and we'll have our hands on those guys in a week. And but it was fun to be out there with them today, just to watch them compete. And like our first walkthrough yesterday, you might as well have been a full practice, because these guys were flying around. I had to tell them after every play to slow down. But that's just, it speaks to the eagerness, probably a little bit of the angst that these guys were going through in terms of just being here and having first exposure. They want to leave a great impression, and but it was a very, very, very productive 2 days, I think, and it kind of laid the foundation for us moving forward.